Also becoming likely later today. Some heavy rain is possible. The rain will be lasting for the next couple of days.
A couple of days. Days of rain. Hey guys, we're streaming today on my phone. I'll tell you all about it in a minute, but sorry. I'll try to repeat the callers, what they're asking, so that you can hear it, because you won't be able to hear the stream from the radio. So hang with us, guys. We have a lot to do today. Some of it's fun and some of it's really sad. All right, guys, welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm a very tired Thor Schrock, owner of the Schrock Innovations computer company, which consists of many very tired technicians this weekend. 866-496-8772. Tired but still willing to help. All right, so have you ever heard the expression, when it rains, it pours? It was absolutely pouring on the tech world this week. So we have a lot to cover, a lot to do today. We have one of the large, I don't know, I think I can confidently call this the largest hack ever, where China has penetrated pretty much every major internet company, the Pentagon and China, of course they penetrated China, and the CIA. Yeah, there's a huge hack that was discovered this week. And I think it lends some, some background to what's going on with the whole China trade war thing. I don't think it's entirely about trade, if you know what I mean. A big part of it, of course, but I don't think it's entirely about trade. So anyway, so we've got that news going on. Of course, Microsoft dropped their big update on Tuesday at 5:30 at night, because that's when everybody releases huge updates. That's super convenient. Thanks for that. You just don't release updates like at 5 o'clock on a Friday, because what happens is something always goes wrong and you require your staff to stay for like a whole week, like a whole weekend. You have to stay now because we released it on a Friday. If we'd have just released it on Monday, everything would have been fine. So Microsoft released their big patch, and so this is how it went this week at the shop. Now, little Schrock trivia here. Way back in the day, we used to recommend Norton 360. I know some of you are still running Norton 360 on your computers. You really shouldn't be. Norton 360, there has not been a new version updated since 2015 when we stopped using it, because Symantec just said, done, we're not going to use it anymore. We're not going to make it. They'll still sell you definition updates, but they're not selling you new engines, and all the new threats that have come out, like ransomware and clickjacking and encryption files, things like that. Okay. Those didn't even exist back when that software was created. So here's the deal. In October, that was the month that we stopped doing Norton 360 years ago in September, and we moved to Endpoint in October. We offered some real sweetheart pricing to get everybody into Endpoint, get them all moving toward that, so that we could get you off Norton 360. And so as a result, we have an abnormally large number of people who renew their Symantec Endpoint in October. All right, well, a lot more. So normally we have about 300 or so a month that renew. There was like 1,000 in October. And so October 1st, we send out our robocalls saying, hey, your Symantec endpoint is expiring. Please give us a call back to renew it, everything like that, so on and so forth. And literally the entire day, no one in the entire company got off the phone. I went to get a haircut, and the lady at the barbershop said, oh, wow, look, you wear a headset. And she said, on your right ear, because I'm deaf in my left ear, so of course I wear it on my right ear. And she said, it'd be rude to wear it on my left ear, you know what I mean? And I was like, wow, I've been wearing a headset so much that it's made a dent in my head. Because, that morning I got up, I didn't go to the shop that day. I washed my hair and everything in the shower. I shouldn't have had I have a perma headset crease from this week in my head, apparently. But, so all these people start calling in, getting their antivirus renewed, which we appreciate. So all day the 1st, we do this. All day the 2nd, we're on the phone all day. We're finally getting to the point where like half the list is processed, and we're like, whew, it's starting to slow down a little bit. This is great. I get home after a long day, and Tuesday evening, as I'm in my driveway pulling in, I get a text from Alfonso at Schrock Interactive saying, the update has dropped. We're uploading it now. We're preparing to launch it. We're running tests in the Omaha Service Center. We have like 13 computers in here we're testing it on to make sure that everything is going to be okay. And I'm like, because it takes a good hour and a half to upload that huge file. So, okay. Great. let me know when it's live. So, they do. And so I do a Facebook Live. Guys, hey, it's time to go run your safe upgrade. The next day, we send out robocalls to all the safe upgrade people and text messages and emails saying it's time to run your updates. Go, 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 go. We always say it, run them in the next 24 to 48 hours. The reason we say that is we want to create a sense of urgency because it is possible that the update will download automatically on your computer. By the way, good morning to everybody watching on Facebook Live. Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations is where you can watch the show live. Today I'm streaming from my phone. Long story short, it was backyard kids camp out day, and Uncle Thor woke up and just straight forgot. You see the bags under my eyes. Straight forgot my computer. I just left it at home. So I'm like, well, I got this little computer in my pocket called a phone. I'll put it up here and there we go. Now we're Facebook Living. So I'll repeat the questions. If you guys hear me repeating questions that, Thor, I couldn't get my safe upgrade to work. Okay, so Sarah's asking. She says she can't get her safe upgrade to work. So I'm repeating that for the Facebook listeners who can't actually hear the callers. And we will be getting to the calls here on the show as well. So all the updates start going through. Tuesday evening, people really start downloading it in earnest around 7:30, 7:45. We close at 8. So we close at 8 and all evening long, Facebook, lots of questions, comments, email, continuous emails coming in. And so I know every single email I can answer and every single Facebook post I can answer after hours at home that night is one less phone call and one less situation. And initially it wasn't too bad. We only had about, I think that overnight about 20 people reported having problems out of 1,000, which is really good. Well, what ended up happening is there's a little bit of confusion, and this is my fault. I should have clarified this better. So I'm going to preface this conversation by saying we call this thing safe upgrade, not sure upgrade. Okay? So there is a huge, just absolutely catastrophic problem with this update that's going around that is biting people in the rear who are not using Safe Upgrade, who are just letting it install on their computer. That big problem is it's deleting all of your user files. So the update goes through, you think everything is great. I had a guy on Facebook, well, Thor, I don't know what I pay you for, and granted, listen, if you feel like you didn't get value from Safe Upgrade, I don't want your money. We're going to refund it because I don't want to take money from my customers and who feel like they're not getting a value back. We worked really hard on Safe Upgrade. We worked really hard troubleshooting people so they didn't have to come into the shop. Some people did have to come in. But I digress. He was upset because he said he didn't know what he was getting for the money he paid. He bought it for 3 computers. It wouldn't install on any of the 3 computers. He just went on each computer and went to Windows Update and installed it himself. So I don't know what I'm paying you for. I understand that's how it might have appeared. However, I emailed the gentleman back and told him, certainly I would give you a refund. It's not a problem. If you don't feel like you got good value, we are going to give you a refund for that. I don't want you leaving an experience with Schrock feeling like you didn't get a good value. But please check to make sure your documents and files are still there and your pictures, because there could all be deleted, because we call it Safe Upgrade, not Sure Upgrade. So if we detect that this thing is going to cause a problem, a piece of software that's not going to work right, an update that's going to cause all your files to disappear potentially. Now, there are certain hardware configurations this is based on. Safe Upgrade checks for that. If we think you're going to lose everything, we stop the update. So running it 3, 4, 5, 6 times doesn't mean it's going to, run it once. If something goes wrong, run it again. Okay. I get that. But, I ran it 15 times and it won't install. Give us a minute, guys. There's a reason it's not installing. Hold on a second. And then, of course, Microsoft bundles in fixes. Over time, the update that you got on Tuesday is not the same update that's available today through Safe Update. So if it did fail last week for you, run it again today and see if it works this time. And, of course, we're going to bundle a new one and upload the new one from the weekend on Monday with all the fixes that Microsoft pumped into it over the weekend, because there are fixes. So Microsoft halts rollout of Windows 10 October 2018 update. What happens next? Only days after releasing its feature update to Windows 10, Microsoft abruptly stopped the rollout and pulled the new version from its download servers as it investigates isolated reports of data-destroying bugs. What should you do now? We call it Safe Upgrade, guys, not Sure Upgrade. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Yes, Microsoft pulled this from their server. We know what's causing the problem to get the deleting data from the computers. We know that the vast majority of Schrock customers will not have this problem because of the type of hardware we install on your computers. Most of you, especially those of you with modular desktops, have AMD processors and not Intel solid-state hard drives. Because Intel solid-state hard drives are the slowest solid-state hard drives you could buy anywhere on the planet. Why would we use them in our computers? So we don't. However, if you purchased a holiday special laptop, you do have an Intel processor, but we don't use Intel hard drives in those. So you kind of have a blended problem. If you purchased a Dell, for example, from Dell, not the holiday special, but a Dell from Dell or a HP from HP, it's very possible, probable in fact, they use those solid state hard drives because they're Intel, right? Those are the people who are having problems. Those are the people who are losing their files. So I'm going to preface this one time. If you did the update, make sure you still have your files, okay? If you did it through Windows Update, make sure you still have your files. If you don't, immediately turn your computer off. And I'm not talking about like shut it down and let the finish checking your email one more time and turning it off. I mean, turn that sucker off now with the power button, push it, hold it till it turns off, and bring it into our service center as soon as possible. Anything that you do on that computer is overwriting your files. They're still there. They are deleted. They're unlinked. So it's basically the computer says, this is free space you can use for anything, like cookies for web browsing or email attachments, those pictures you don't want, those forwards, that you don't even want. That'll overwrite your important files. We can recover your files for you in the service centers. You just have to make sure you turn the computer off and bring them into us. Yes, this is a data recovery. Yes, it does cost money. Yes, it's not fun. I get that. This is why we call it Safe Upgrade. Because let's say this happened to your computer with Safe Upgrade. Now, normally data recoveries are not covered by Safe Upgrade. If something goes catastrophically wrong and your whole file will make your computer work, but your data, you should have a backup, right? You should have a backup. Where's your backup? We'll restore your backup for you. I don't have a backup. Well, we can do a data recovery, but that costs, right? In this particular case, if you had Safe Upgrade, the recovery is not that hard. We would probably do it for you, okay? So if you had Safe Upgrade, you didn't lose files because Safe Upgrade would not allow your computer to install the update if it was going to have a problem, okay? So this is very much like what happened last month. Microsoft is not going to reissue this update with a new number or any garbage like that. They pulled it because they're trying to figure out what's going on. Now, there's a driver update you can do that solves the problem. You have to do it before the update. Like I said, we know what the problem is. If you bring it into the shop, we can do it in the shop. If you get Safe Upgrade, if you don't have this hardware problem, Safe Upgrade will work. If you don't have an outdated NVIDIA graphics card driver, Safe Upgrade will work. That was one of the big problems. People had outdated NVIDIA graphics card drivers. How do you know that you have that? You don't. Do I want you to try to update it on your own? No, I don't. Because it's a pain in the butt. And honestly, you'll do more harm than good in many cases because most people, that's not the problem. But that's what I'm saying. There's lots of, if Safe Upgrade fails, a window comes up and says, this can happen for various reasons. And as a result, let us know. Try again if you want to, or call us for support. And people who called, I had 4 on Tuesday or Wednesday morning. I had 4 Schrock desks going. I had a whole row of computers behind me on the bench, and I had a headset on, apparently making a dent in my head. I was helping that many people at one time, and we all were at the shop. So at one point in Lincoln, our phones were so busy that the phone company ran out of circuits to route calls to the service center. They got the all circuits are busy message. And it wasn't people with Safe Upgrade that were calling. It was people who installed it on their own or tried to and had a problem. So in the middle of all this going on, we have the endpoint bomb, as we call it, boom, going off. And then all of a sudden, Microsoft drops this update that they pulled because, oops. And then, boom, that bomb goes off. Then we have the confusion with Safe Upgrade, which admittedly is my fault. Because, okay, if Safe Upgrade runs on your computer, you have a warranty. If something on your computer, if you install the update with Safe Upgrade and your computer doesn't reboot, you have a warranty with Schrock for that, right? We're going to make your computer boot again. We're going to make it right. If you try to run Safe Upgrade on your computer and it just won't install, the update won't install for whatever reason, You don't have a warranty for that. We call it safe upgrade, not sure upgrade. So basically what that means is we're going to try to help you over the Schrock desk. If we can get you helped over the Schrock desk, you don't have to come into the shop. You don't have to pay the $30 upcharge to have a technician do it on the bench. Okay? If you're going to bring it into the shop, which is what many people just decided to do, it'll be easier. Let me bring it into the shop. For those people who brought it into the shop, there's a $30 upcharge for that. There's a little bit of an extra charge because a technician has to figure out why it's not installing, correct the problem, and then install the update for you. So it's still way cheaper than an hour of labor. You still had a shot to get it done for $50. I understand it didn't work. I understand it's frustrating, but it didn't work for a reason. It's safe upgrade, not sure upgrade. All right. Also, one of the biggest complaints, before I go to break here, one of the biggest complaints on Safe Upgrade this time was not the download time. The download time was really fast, actually, because we used a whole slew of Amazon S3 servers. We made sure you could download this thing. People on Windstream connections were downloading it as fast as their internet connection would allow. So the download, yes, it took, it's a 4 gig update. It's going to take some time. If you ever installed a game on an Xbox, you know how long that takes. But it downloaded pretty darn quick. Now, the biggest complaint we had, people said it took over 2 hours to install the update. That was almost a universal complaint on everybody that hasn't bought a computer from us in the last 2 years and doesn't have a recent holiday special. All of our normal users were like, this is ridiculous. This is taking like 2 hours. The reason it's taking so long, guys, is as we've discussed on previous shows, the patches for Spectre and Meltdown, those vulnerabilities that allowed the bad guys to access everything on your computer, those patches caused up to a 40% slowdown in the way your computer interacts with your hard drive. As a result, I've mentioned the last 2 shows, 1 in 3 people are having us replace their old mechanical hard drive with a solid-state hard drive because it gives you all that speed back, makes the computer faster than it was the day you bought it, can literally procrastinate you having to buy a new computer for years. So, of course, people come in for Safe Upgrade, and they're like, and it was super slow. And we're like, well, do you want a solid-state? And they're like, while it's in here, let's go ahead and do that. Literally, 27, 28 solid states between the 3 stores. We literally sold out. We literally went to Best Buy and bought solid state hard drives to put in your computers because we were out. And I've got a boatload coming on Tuesday. It's crazy. So if you are going to bring the computer in and you noticed it's been slow lately, it is a great time for us to replace that with a solid state hard drive for you. We have special pricing on that. It's a lower amount of labor, actually, to have that done because your hard drive is healthy. We're not cloning your bad hard drive over. We're cloning your healthy drive over. And then once that's done, the update takes less than a half an hour. I mean, it's amazingly fast. So anyway, that is my introductory thing. Hopefully I've headed off a few people that are a little upset this morning. I tried to troubleshoot a lot of this through email. I had one gentleman, like I said, email me saying he wasn't sure what he paid for. So I replied back, make sure you check and see your files are still there. If you did it through Windows Update, good Lord, make sure your files are there. And I never heard back from him. So I'm not sure if his files were gone and he was like, oh no, what have I done? And his wife was like, I told you to use the Safe Upgrade. I have no idea what happened there, but hopefully we'll hear back and be able to take care of him. 866-496-8772. Dale and Ed, stay on the lines. Your calls are coming up next on Compute This. Oh, one of the nice things about doing this on the phone is during the commercial breaks, you get to hear everything that goes on behind the scenes. So we're going to go to Ed's call first because that's a great example of a warranty. The call we're going to take first, guys, the description that I have here is Ed used Safe Upgrade, and now his hard drive's not recognized. So I don't know if he means his computer won't boot. Is that... Or did he have a second hard drive?
This is a second hard drive.
Okay, so he had 2 hard drives, and the other one isn't showing up. Did it die? I guess we only checked the health of the installation drive with Safe Update. Safe Upgrade, we never occurred to us.
He's got your drive advisor there, and he says it didn't seem, get any email or whatever.
Okay, well, that's a great example of the warranty. That was something that would be covered under the warranty. But, hey, I tried to install it, and on my Verizon hotspot, it wouldn't download. You can't do this over a Verizon hotspot. That's not real internet. I'm sorry, not until 5G comes out. Until 5G comes out, that is not real internet. All right, I'm going to post this article about the Chinese hack thing too. Because this hack, guys, yeah, this is Snowden level, but worse. China basically had a direct line into the CIA's servers, a direct line into Facebook, Google, Amazon, you name it. Anybody who runs a data center, China had full transparency of all their data. China knows your stuff. Big time. All from a grain of rice. Microchips the size of a grain of rice on every single server motherboard made by the certain company there. That was mine. And of course, literally on like Tuesday or Wednesday, I forget what day it was at this point, it's all blending together. Literally, there was a pause in the phone call so I could go into the bathroom and use the restroom, right? And even then I had to multitask. So I'm shooting tech support on the toilet, you know? And I see this article and I'm like, great, if that wasn't enough, now China hacks everything while this is going on. Oh my gosh, we're all going to die. All right, welcome back into Compute This, guys. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. 866-496-8772. That's the number where you can join us on the program today. You can also watch the show online live at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. I know a lot of you listen as you're getting ready for church in the morning or whatnot. If that's the case, you can always pick up the show. If you get interrupted, we save the videos on Facebook so you can go back and watch. And you can fast forward some, to where you left off too. All right, let's jump into those phones. Ed, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This? Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay, so let me recap this for our Facebook listeners here real quick. You've got a Schrock modular external hard drive on your computer doing your backups, and after the update, it stopped responding. But you moved that drive to various computers. It doesn't respond on any computer. We did a Schrock desk. We can't see the hard drive either. It looks like the hard drive in the enclosure failed. As far as the out of stock thing on the website, they shouldn't be. We have them in all the service centers. We can actually, it's like cookies. We can make them on demand. Yeah, we can make you a freshly baked external hard drive anytime you need one. So they're never out of stock. So I'll get that addressed with our Schrock Interactive team. Now, as far as putting go ahead. Gotcha. So there's a couple different ways that we can handle this one. First of all, how long ago did you buy the external drive? So it's less than a year? Okay. Okay, gotcha. So basically, the hard drive is not under warranty any longer. Of course, we can replace the hard drive in the enclosure for you. That's not a problem. There would be a cost to do that. So you may as well just buy a new external hard drive, honestly. You know, and then that way I will get it. And I know you said you're short on time right now, so the thought that occurs to me here is there should not be out of stock. It should be an evergreen item on our website that we can always get. So I will get that taken care of with our Schrock Interactive team to make sure that that's available on the website. And then once it's available there, you can just go buy it online. You can choose what type of hard drive you want to put in it. You can choose between the solid state options as well as the rotating disk options, and then we can ship it to you. And then you won't have to even come to the shop. And then once you get it, just give us a call on the Schrock desk, and we'll set up the backup on it for you. There's no charge for that. Sounds good. All right. Right. Well, you know, that's one of the things about hard drive failures. You know, you're saying you had Drive Advisor and the hard drive just up and died. And, you know, Drive Advisor, most hard drives don't just up and die. Most hard drives actually die slowly over time. And that's the kind of failure that Drive Advisor detects and alerts you about. Thank you very much for the call, Ed. I appreciate it. Funny aside here, I had a customer in the Papillion Service Center yesterday who came in with his computer and he goes, yeah, Drive Advisor told me my drive was failing. He goes, yeah, it was down to like 90%. I'm like, oh, okay, great. You know, we'll get it cloned for you. That won't be a problem. He goes, yeah, well, that was like 6 months ago. And I thought, 90%'s not too bad. And I'm like, oh, what? He's like, so, and it went to like 50. And I was like, oh, that's not too bad. He goes, now it's at 4%. It's not working right anymore. I'm like, oh, no, buddy. That's the whole reason you have Drive Advisor. So when it drops from 100%, that's like a computer getting hit in the face with a hammer. And then it's at 90%. That's like 10 human heart attacks, okay? You have Dick Cheney for a hard drive, and you need to get that heart replaced, okay? So bring it into the shop. If your Drive Advisor tells you your computer's hard drive is failing, don't wait for it to fail real good before you bring it in. Bring it in as soon as you can, because the sooner you bring it in, the more likely it is that we'll be able to get all your information off in a clone. But sometimes hard drives do just up and die, especially externals. Externals are incredibly fragile. Don't ever trust them for primary storage. But if that's the case, you know, we can certainly get it replaced for you. Thank you very much for the call, Ed. We appreciate it. Got to take a break, guys. Dale, stay on the line. Also, coming up next on the program, the big hack, how China used a tiny chip to infiltrate U.S. companies. The attacks by Chinese spies reached almost 30 U.S. companies, including Amazon and Apple, by compromising America's technology supply chain, according to extensive interviews with government and corporate sources. We're going to tell you what's going on here coming up next on Compute This.
Yeah, 10 heart attacks. I thought of Dick Cheney also.
Yeah. Everybody says Dick Cheney had 10 heart attacks,
yeah.
You know? You're a heart
He's
attack
more
machine.
famous for his heart attacks and shooting another guy on
Shooting a hunter in the butt.
Hunter, yeah. And rather than, you know, most people don't even know about him being vice president.
Yeah, he was a vice president, I think, too, you know. Oh, golly. And, you know, the thing is, this news about the China hack thing broke, and it broke at the same time the Kavanaugh thing was going on. You gotta wonder, you know, if you were gonna push a story out that could say, yeah, the security of like everybody's online information everywhere in America was compromised by China, and oh yeah, they know everything the CIA knows too. You might want to put that out like in the middle of a contentious Supreme Court nomination. Make sure it gets covered in that point. I had a customer in Lincoln, or yeah, I think that was Lincoln, who literally was refusing to believe we'd recycle computers for free. She was like, you got to charge for that. And we're like, no, we don't charge for that. And she's like, well, do you wipe the data? And I'm like, well, yeah, of course we do. We take the hard drives out, like back there, and I'm showing her, like in the back room, like see the pile of hard drives on the floor? Those are the ones that are wiped, that are going out for recycling. The ones on the shelf, we always tag them and hold them for 15 days because somebody always recycles a computer and comes back like a week later with tears like, please tell me you still have my old computer. My data didn't transfer. And then we're like, yeah, we have that. We kept the hard drive for 2 weeks. It's right here. And then we're heroes, right? Then after 2 weeks, we wipe them and recycle them. Then some people come back at later. We had a guy come back like 3 months later, and he's like, oh my gosh, my data. And we're like, sorry. We don't keep them that long. Sorry about that. Oh, yes, I know my microphone's on right now. In fact, guys, for those of you joining late in the program, I'm streaming from my cell phone. That means I can't type. I can't reply to you right now with typing, so I'll try to, and I can't scroll comments. But basically, I was doing a family camp out night with my son and my nephew, and my daughter was out there for a few hours, and then she went in the middle of the night. She's special needs, so I couldn't get her to wear her jacket or her stocking cap. She just refused, and then she was cold, and she was upset about it. I'm like, normal kid, you'd be like, well, natural consequences. But with her, she doesn't understand natural consequences quite yet, so she just wants to eat lots of hot dogs. Like I don't know what it is. She's like got a thing for hot dogs. But anyway, so we were camping out in the backyard yesterday, and so I got up extra early to get in and get a shower and everything. And I just literally, after this week, I'm so scattered, guys. I literally walked out the door without my computer. I got like 3/4 of the way to the studio, and I'm like, oh, beep, I have my computer. And I'm like, there's not enough time to go back. Like, well, best to have half a show than no show, right? But then I'm like, I can stream from my phone and give them at least a partial Facebook, so there won't be any aftershock either because I got to go home and make pancakes for everybody. Hope you understand. All right, guys, welcome back in. Second half of Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, and Papillion. Also helping customers across the country via the Schrock Desk. Schrock Desk has been very busy this week. We have about 8 seats. We can help 8 individual people simultaneously on the Schrock Desk. We taxed that limit on a continual basis throughout the week. So we can have like as many sessions open as we want, right? So we can have as many customers connected to us. So we'd connect to a customer, get their update started, and then the technician would close the session out on their end, leaving the customer connected so we could rejoin later so that we could help another customer. So we had like 16 or 20 sessions open, and we had 8 of them rolling at one time. It was ridiculous. But hey, in other good news this week, if you are joining the show late, Microsoft has suspended the rollout of the October update. They are not going to re-release it with a new number. And for those of you who have the October update, everything is kosher pickles. For those of you who still want or need to get the October update, you can come into the service center. We will install that for you. There's no problem. We know what's wrong in the service center. We can fix it for you. Microsoft is trying to figure out a way to fix it for everybody on the fly because apparently this new update is deleting all your files. Yay! We talked extensively in the first segment about Safe Upgrade. If you have not run your Safe Upgrade yet, now is the time to do that. You will not lose your files. And for those of you out there who don't have Safe Upgrade, who may have gotten the update and may have lost your files, do not do anything with your computer. Immediately turn it off. Like power it down and bring it into the service center. Every single keystroke you make on that computer is deleting one more of your files. So don't do anything. Don't back anything up. Don't save anything. Don't check email one more time before, or look at Facebook on there. Shut it off, bring it in, we'll get your files back. So at any rate, so Safe Upgrade is rolling. We talked about the fact that if you want to have it done in the service center, it is $80 versus the $50 to buy it online. Now that we know what's going on with the update, we've made a few more copies of Safe Upgrade available on the website at SchrockInnovations.com. If you don't have your copy, you can get your copy there and get it on the computer. All right, so in the meantime, while all this was going on, you may have heard, I don't know, this week that there was a Supreme Court confirmation battle going on. I seem to recall there was some news about that. Yeah, my rock got rattled quite a bit over that one. Meanwhile, it's announced that China has pretty much hacked everything in the United States through hardware made in China. Could it be that there's more to the trade war than economics? But in the meantime, Dale is calling us. So Dale, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This? Sure. Great question. Okay, so you have an HP laptop. The color hue seems off on the screen, so you went in and you adjusted the gamma and a bunch of different settings to calibrate the screen. And then once the screen was calibrated, you exited the program, did some other stuff, said, I'm going to do a little more tweaking, went back in, and were startled to see that the settings were back where they were originally. Okay, so here's the deal. I'll use the example of calibrating a touchscreen for you. So let's say if you've ever worked in a restaurant, you have a touchscreen point of sale system. They require calibration from time to time. So what you do is you run the calibration program, and they put a little crosshair on the screen, and you touch the crosshair. And you touch the next crosshair, and the next one, and the next one, all four corners. Then you touch the middle. And then basically the computer says, okay, we know where the four corners are, we know where the middle is, now we can map everything else on the screen. And then all this, if you run the calibration program again, it puts the same four crosshairs on this, or same five crosshairs on the screen, does it all over again. Basically what you did is when you calibrated your screen color, those screen calibrations are designed for people, like my wife right now is working on the holiday special catalog. She wants the colors that she has on her computer screen to match the colors that come out of the printer when it goes off to the printer. Because you don't want to print what you think is royal blue and have it come out purple. So you need to calibrate your screen to match whatever the printer's color calibration is. And so you'll have people in graphic design understand, especially in photography, understand you must have a screen. They actually make calibration filters that go over your screen to ensure that what you see on the screen is what's going to come out of the printer when they print the picture. So what you did is you calibrated the screen. So it thinks you made an adjustment to how the screen looks, and then it set that as the default calibration. Now that's the new normal. So your sliders didn't move. You moved what normal was, if that makes sense. And so now normal is in the middle again, and if you make more adjustments, that's changing normal. When you come back again, the sliders will all be back in the middle, but the changes will still be applied. Yes, the new whatever it's at. Like, I guess here's the thing: the sliders you're adjusting are not setting sliders. Like, you think of the mouse sensitivity slider. You can slide it left or slide it right to make it more or less sensitive. You can change your resolution up or down on the slider to make it be larger or smaller on the screen. But when you're adjusting the color calibration, that color calibration adjustment changes what normal is. So it moves up a little bit. You know, and then that's the new normal. Yep. No problem. Thanks a lot, Dale. I appreciate your call. We also got you in the drawing for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate, 866-496-8772. All right, so we talked earlier about Microsoft halting the rollout. They are going to resume that once they figure out why the Intel computers with an Intel chipset and an Intel solid-state hard drive are deleting all the files. Doesn't make any sense, but it's happening. They're going to fix it. They'll push it back out. My guess is that they'll push it back out pretty quickly. So in the meantime, if you've installed with Schrock, you don't have to worry about that. Safe Upgrade did not allow your computer to install the update. If it thought your files were going to disappear, it did not allow it. When Microsoft releases a new version, we will be uploading that new version. So say people using Safe Upgrade in the future will get that new installation rather than the old one. But if you want it installed, we know what's causing the problems. We can do it in the shop for you. Just bring it into the shop and we'll take care of it. So 866-496-8772. The Big Hack. How China used a tiny microchip, to infiltrate U.S. companies. As we mentioned in the previous segment, the attack by Chinese spies reached almost 30 U.S. companies, including Amazon, Apple, and compromised America's technology supply chain, according to extensive interviews with government officials. All right, when did this start? Looks like this started around 2015, 2016, so it's been going on for a couple years. Supermicro is a company that makes motherboards.
Oh, okay.
Supermicro is a Chinese company that makes motherboards and ships them to the United States. Pretty much every major server on the planet has a Supermicro motherboard. I have in a box in my service center right now a Supermicro motherboard, which I am excited to go back to my warehouse service center at some point and pop it out and see if I've got this grain of rice microchip on there. It'd be amazing to get like an actual picture of it on the board and be able to publish that. But yeah, so the nested on the server's motherboards, the testers found a tiny microchip, not much bigger than a grain of rice, that wasn't part of the board's original design. Amazon reported the discovery to U.S. authorities, sending a shudder through the intelligence community, because guess what? They use Supermicro motherboards on all their servers. Gulp. Amazon reported the discovery. Let's see. The servers could be found in Department of Defense data centers, the CIA's drone operations, and the onboard networks of Navy warships. And Elemental, the company that made the servers, was just one of hundreds of Supermicro customers. So you probably don't have, you don't even know who Supermicro is. But if you bought a server, Supermicro made the motherboard that went in your server. Happy day. During the ensuing top-secret probe, which remains open more than 3 years later. Funny how a top-secret probe gets dumped on news media right in the middle of a contentious Supreme Court nomination. Isn't that weird? Like, this is an ongoing top-secret investigation. It was published in Bloomberg. It's not exactly a conservative bastion here. You'd think that if they could have, they would have held this. Unless maybe it was dumped to multiple news sources and they wanted to scoop everybody. But it's just weird that this would hit right now, isn't it? Isn't that odd? All right, so during the top-secret probe, which remains open 3 years later, investigators determined that the chips allowed attackers to create a stealth doorway into any network that included the altered machines. So you get one altered machine in your operation, and China can get into every machine in your operation. This is why things like endpoint antivirus are important. Every computer is an endpoint. Well, once you get through some of these firewalls, the firewalls get less and less and less the deeper you get in. Multiple people familiar with the matter say investigators found the chips had been inserted at factories run by manufacturing subcontractors in China. The attack was something graver than the software-based incidents the world has grown accustomed to seeing. In other words, if you thought what we were doing was bad, by scooping people's online content and like analyzing it, this is a lot worse. Hardware hacks are more difficult to pull off and potentially much more devastating, promising the kind of long-term stealth access that spy agencies are willing to invest millions of dollars and many years to get. Quote, having a well-done nation-state level hardware implant surface would be like witnessing a unicorn jumping over a rainbow. I am sad to report, folks, that if you were having trouble sleeping, you can count unicorns jumping over rainbows right now. All right, so if you're not aware of this, there are two ways that governments can pull off this kind of hardware assault. We do this stuff too. The United States is much more in favor of intercepting computers in the supply chain on the way to So you buy a new computer from Dell and they ship it to you. The United States government intercepts it at the shipping facility, cracks the tape, implants the malware, retapes it with brand new Dell box, brand new Dell tape. You never even know anyone's in there. Same shipping label, and they just slip it right back into the supply chain. You get your delivery, FedEx guy drops it off, and my new server. And all of a sudden you're Saddam Hussein with an infected printer. Literally, they did that to him. His air defenses during the first Gulf War went offline because a printer he ordered from France was pre-infected with malware that took down his air defenses at a particular moment in time. So this kind of stuff isn't new. We've been doing it for years. But we prefer to infiltrate the supply chain because we don't make anything here. So we can't put it on in advance and then send it out. China can, because China makes everything. So China said, we just put the chip on the board, and then we put enough chips on enough boards, and eventually everybody will have one. One country in particular has an advantage executing this kind of attack, China. By some estimates, China makes 75% of the world's mobile phones and 90% of its PCs. Still, to actually accomplish a seeding attack, which is putting these chips on motherboards, would mean developing a deep understanding of a product's design, manipulating companies at the factory, and ensuring the doctored devices made it through the global logistics chain to the desired location, a feat akin to throwing a stick in the Yangtze River upstream from Shanghai. I guess that's a long ways. I was like, oh, where are you going with this? And ensuring that it washes up in Seattle. So in other words, it would be really hard to do. Okay, like a unicorn jumping over a rainbow. We'll stick with the unicorn one. That's easier to understand. Okay, so basically that's what U.S. investigators found has happened. China's spies appear to have found the perfect conduit for what U.S. officials now describe as the most significant supply chain attack known to have been carried out against American companies. It affected 30 companies, including one major bank, government contractors, the world's most valuable company, Apple. Apple was an important Supermicro customer and had planned to order more than 30,000 of its servers in a 2-year period for its data centers. The senior insiders at Apple say that in the summer of 2015, it too found the malicious chips on Supermicro motherboards, and Apple severed ties with Supermicro the following year in what it described as unrelated reasons. Of course they're unrelated. I'm sure there were some tariffs or something. I'm sure that's what it was. In emailed statements, Amazon, which announced its acquisition of Elemental, the company that had the infected servers, in 2015, Apple and Supermicro disputed summaries of Bloomberg's Businessweek reporting. It's untrue that AWS knew about the compromise and used the servers anyway, basically, Amazon wrote. This we can be very clear. Apple has never found malicious chips, hardware manipulations, or vulnerabilities purposely planted in any server. Apple wrote, we remain unaware of any such investigation, wrote a spokesperson for Supermicro. Supermicro says they're unaware of it. The Chinese government won't address the accusation. Supply chain safety in cyberspace is an issue of common concern, and China is also a victim. The FBI and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, representing the CIA and NSA, declined to comment. Yeah, so not uncommon. Maybe the guy in China's telling the truth. Left hand doesn't know right hand, that kind of stuff. So bottom line, guys, this is a really big deal. Apple's saying that, Bloomberg is saying that Apple had this stuff on their servers. Apple is saying they've never had this on their servers. Who knows? So bottom line is there's a lot of servers in America right now running Supermicro motherboards with this little tiny grain of rice chip on the motherboard, allowing China a backdoor not only into the server itself, but into everything connected to your network. So if you are a network administrator listening to this program right now, if you have a computer that has a Supermicro motherboard, do a little research and see. I don't know if there's an automated way to detect this chip yet, or even if you find it, there is the possibility that I don't know if you can just short the chip, if you can heat it up and remove it, or if you just have to buy a new server, which servers are like 10 grand. If you buy the Dell server. If you do it our way, it's like $4 grand. But anyway, long story short, guys, this is the biggest hack ever of hardware ever, and it was what China did, not only against the United States, but these motherboards are shipped worldwide. And you wonder how China is able to have a stealth fighter that looks a lot like the F-35. This is how they do that. So just a heads up, this is a real world we're playing in. And we have some crafty adversaries. So when we ask you guys to take your cybersecurity seriously as individuals, take that to work with you. Make sure at work, when you do stuff at work, that you're doing everything you can to keep your workstation and your personal bubble as secure as possible. Rotate those passwords for good measure. You never know, China. Your passwords are all stored on servers, guys. And you never know which server is running a grain of rice chip. 866-496-8772. All right, we're going to take our last break of the program. When we come back, Steve and Randy, your calls coming up next on Compute This.
If you can dream it, Schrock Interactive.
Oh, my voice. Normally I have a few-minute break between each segment. Not today. So it's not that I'm cheating you out of an aftershock. You're actually getting the aftershock during the breaks.
During Schrock.
All right, so Now, there's a judgment thing, and I can see the lovely Kimberly's watching right now. There's a judgment thing that she and I have been discussing for some time, that she says I shouldn't talk about this on the Aftershock. And I'm saying, I think this is really funny. It made everybody in the shop laugh uncomfortably. She's about to post, no. All right, so I had a customer, long-time customer come in. And he comes into the Papillion Service Center. He's like, he sees me. He's like, Thor, you're here. Wow. Hey, it's great to see you. Oh, I listen to you every week. I love the program. And, see, I told you it was coming. And he's like, I have a Schrock computer. I have a Schrock laptop. I have a Schrock tablet. I got a Schrock backup. Everything in my house, I am completely Schrock'em-sized. And I just looked at him like, I've never heard that one before. Wow. So it's not appropriate for radio, but that's good Aftershock material. So that was the compromise, lovely Kimberly. Aftershock material, not radio material. All right. So yes.
Free T-shirt to cover that thing up.
I thought you were saying we should make a T-shirt. I've been Schrock'em-sized.
Well, there you go.
Hey, our 20th anniversary is coming up. You know, Schrock'em-sized for 20 years. You know, we can. Oh, it made everybody laugh, and then when he left, we just cracked up because we didn't want him to feel bad, but it was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, everybody, now I see we get to have Judgment Day. Was Thor right for sharing that funny tidbit of really inappropriate Schrock trivia with you, or was the lovely Kimberly correct saying, Mr. Schrock, you are not being a gentleman talking about Schrock'emcision on air. That's not a topic that we discuss in friendly company, okay? She's always the more cultured one. She really is. She really is. All right, so now you can weigh in. You post your comments and decide. No one's jumping to my support here. This isn't good. All right, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Final segment of the program. Couple callers left. We're going to try to get them both in here. Randy, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This? Okay. Yeah, we've done. Yeah, that was the first one. Yes, yeah, absolutely. So, whoa, my camera just moved. That was weird. So, yeah, basically what we can do is if you have Safe Upgrade, when you download Safe Upgrade to your computer, this is the third Safe Upgrade we've done. When you download it to your computer, the file that you download is valid for that Safe Upgrade for that update. It's not valid for any future updates. You have to buy a new one for each update. So you can delete them. All right, no worries. Yep. So yeah, like I said, Safe Upgrade did its job for over 1,000 copies at this point sold, and Safe Upgrade did its job for the vast majority of people. I would say we had about 200 customers who had some issue installing the update using Safe Upgrade, like it would not go through. Of those 200 customers, I honestly couldn't give you an accurate. It feels like I helped all 200 of them over the Schrock desk, but I don't think I really did. You figure we probably got about. Why does my camera keep moving here? Oh, it's because it's vibrating. Yeah, so people are commenting on the Facebook feed, and it's making my phone rattle around. but basically, we had a lot of people on there, so we got a lot of people help. There were some people who did have to come in and have us do it on the bench because they were going to lose their files if Safe Upgrade went through. And at first, people were really upset about that. They were like, "I don't want to lose my file, or I want Safe Upgrade to work. I paid for it." But then when they found out that it's not working because you could end up with a completely disastrous result, they're like, oh, well, I'm really glad you stopped it then. So yeah, that's what we've been trying to do for people. So thank you for the call, Randy. I appreciate your purchase of Safe Upgrade. I appreciate you getting it every time. By the way, guys, keep an eye on your emails. The next update is scheduled for April of next year, but when you purchase Safe Upgrade, we do send coupon codes out for the subsequent versions. So if you, some people, know you can't retroactively use it if you missed the first one, but we did send an email initially. Some people's emails get scraped to spam, whatever. They never get it, but we send coupon codes out for the people who purchased last time so that they can go ahead and save a little bit of money on purchasing the next one. We try to make it as affordable as possible. All right, next up on the line is Steve. Steve, how can I help you on Compute This? Yes.
Compute this. Can I get your name, please? What was that, Ron?
Yeah, great questions. Yeah, so say you ran Safe Upgrade, everything appeared to go well. How do I know that it actually worked? What you can do is on your computer, if you right-click in the lower right-hand corner, that will create a little menu that pops up. Not the start menu. You want to right-click so you get more options, and then left-click on System. This is going to open up your System Control Panel window, and in that window, you will see the version number of Windows. You scroll down a little bit, it'll say Windows 10 version. You had 1803 before. Now you should have 1809. No, you left clicked on it. So you have to right click on that little start menu down there. And then in that menu that pops up, left click on System. And then that's going to open up the System Control Panel, and you'll be able to click on anything you want there. Or you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the Windows 10 version. Because it'll have all the information about your computer. It'll say, here's how much memory you have, here's how much processor you have. Okay. Hey, no worries. 1809 is what you're looking for. And it'll be, you have to scroll down a little bit there. It'll be in the second block of text. All righty? All right. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us on the program today. I want to thank everybody who called in. Do we have time to get Marilyn here? I think so. Marilyn, how can I help you today on Compute This? Gotcha. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment. I'm glad to have helped you out. Sorry, I got to cut you off there because we got to get going, but we'll be back again next Sunday for another edition of Compute This.
That was barely enough time.
Yeah, I know. All right. So, hey, guys, I wasn't making fun of that customer that bought everything he's ever had from us and then said that he was fully Schrock'em-sized. I wasn't making fun of him. Please don't misunderstand. We thought it was hilarious. We were like, oh my gosh. It was one of those things that somebody says that's completely unexpected, and you're just like, what did he say? And then you realize what he said, and you're like, oh my gosh. And then everybody laughed. It was funny. And so I went home, and I told my wife that story, and she laughed. And then I said, I'm going to tell it on the radio. And she's like, no. All right. So I saw as we were doing the show, a couple things popped up. People asking about the holiday special. We did finalize the holiday special laptop this week, and we have our 3 demo models on order. They are Dell units again this year. Dell did a really, really nice job for us last year on those units. My understanding is they won't even have grains of rice microchips in there, so that'll be awesome. But basically, the Dell laptops are amazing. They are 16 gigs of RAM, a 500 gig solid state hard drive, the newest 8th generation i7 processor, touch screen, backlit keyboard, USB 3.1. So you've got everything you could possibly want. Multi-gesture touch support. The only thing that is different from this year than last year, well, there's 2 things. Number one, the weight. This laptop is ultra thin. So it literally weighs next to nothing. It's stupid thin. The screen almost weighs more than the actual computer part. The second thing is it's a 2-in-1. So you can open it up and use it like a laptop, or you can tent it. So you can put it on the table like this and have the screen facing outward. So you can take the lid of your laptop, this makes sense, and open it all the way back around like this on the hinges and set it like that. Or you can close it like this and hold it like a clipboard in your hand, like a tablet. When you do that, it disables the keyboard on the back side, so that was pretty cool. The only downer is it does not have a DVD drive, because as I've mentioned, DVD drives are kind of going the way of the dodo. But if it's important to you to have a DVD drive, we can always get you a USB DVD drive that you can plug into it when you need to use it. How and where do I download Safe Upgrade? You bought it a couple weeks ago. All right, so Safe Upgrade, first of all, the easiest way to get Safe Upgrade is to use the email that you received when we said, hey, it's go time. There was a link there that said download the tool. The tool is the same for everybody. So any place you could download it to a flash drive and use that same one on all 3 computers if you wanted to. So you download that tool. If you don't have the email, go back to your Schrock account. So go to SchrockInnovations.com, click on the login, on your side, the login in the top right corner, and then once you've clicked there, enter your email address for your username and your password. And if you don't know your password, you can reset it. And then you go to your downloads section. Click on downloads, and then you'll be able to see all the programs you purchased that you can download, and Safe Upgrade will be one of them. Download the Safe Upgrade program to your computer, and then double-click on it to run it, and then it'll go from there. Now, I've had some people ask, hey, I've downloaded it. I don't know where it is. Where is it? That will depend on the browser that you're using. I do not recommend AOL Desktop Gold for this process. I just don't. Most downloads are going to show up in your downloads folder. Otherwise, if you are using Firefox, there's a little download arrow in the top right corner that lights up when you downloaded something. You can click on it and access it from there. All right, a couple more questions. If anybody's got one, you can fire it off, and then I'll go ahead and answer it best I can. Otherwise, I've got to get rolling here because I've got to make the pancakes for the campers this morning. So pancakes sound so good. Nothing? Okay. All right, guys. So, yeah, sorry about the phone thing today, that you couldn't hear the callers. Next week I'll have my laptop back. I completely biffed this morning and just walked out the door without my laptop. Too many other weird things going on with the camp out at home and everything in the backyard, and worrying about the kids if they're warm enough, and I just walked right out the door. So, anyway, next week we'll be back with the full feed, but in the meantime, at least we got you a little bit of Facebook action here. All right, so if you have questions about Safe Upgrade, anything like that, you can feel free to call the service center. Please be patient with us. We're obviously undergoing large amounts of phone traffic right now, which is exactly why we only sell 1,000 initially, because if we sold more than that, which we easily could have, when we sell more than 1,000 up front, we would not have been able to keep up with the aftermath when Microsoft pulls the update like this. But in the meantime, it's completely safe. Run Safe Upgrade. You're good to go. You'll get version 1809. Everything will be right as rain with the world. If it doesn't work, you can bring it into the service center and we can install it for you. If you prefer to wait, you can wait. Your computer at this point will not automatically download the update because Microsoft has pulled the update. So that's good news there. If you did install it on your own, please double check and make sure your files are there. Click on your documents folder and make sure your pictures are there, your documents are there. If they're missing, then turn your computer off immediately and bring it into us for a data recovery, and we'll get those files back for you, okay? Remember, if you use Schrock Safe Upgrade and your computer has an adverse effect, the warranty that you get is that we will fix that adverse problem for you that was caused by Schrock Safe Upgrade. Now, if your computer had a bad hard drive when it started and you installed Schrock Safe Upgrade anyway, even though it warned you not to, your bad hard drive is not covered by the warranty. But if you installed Safe Upgrade and all of a sudden your computer won't reboot, that was caused by the update. That's covered by your warranty. If you try to install Schrock Safe Upgrade and it fails because it detects there was a problem with the installation and it stopped it, this could happen for a variety of reasons, because it can happen for more reasons than we could list in a box. That's not a bad thing. That's design. That's how it's supposed to work. You don't have a warranty. It's not Schrock Sure Upgrade. It's Schrock Safe Upgrade. So we want it to safely install, and if we detect it will not safely install, then you either have to bring it into the shop for us to do it. It does cost $30 more to do that with a tech. Or we can try to do it over the Schrock desk. We can address the most common things for you there. All right. Any questions, anything like that, let me know. You can pop them on Facebook. You can always call the service centers. You can always email us, contact us from SchrockInnovations.com. But in the meantime, guys, have a chilly Sunday afternoon, and we'll talk to you again next week for another edition of Compute This.